Hello everyone, Captain Sagrannus here, and we're back in World of Warships. Okay, so as I mentioned last week, we are going to be in the Phoenix cruiser, which is the Tier 4 American cruiser today. Now, this is one of those interesting paper ships, a ship that actually was never built. The Phoenix, however, did become the basis for the Omaha, which is the Tier 5 American cruiser. Okay, so we're going to quickly just go over the ship. It's very different to its predecessors in that it's carrying fewer guns, has longer range, and is a lot faster. It does call for a very different play style to the St. Louis, which I almost considered to have been a sort of a mini battleship. You just sat at range and pounded whatever was there. You have to be a bit more active in the Phoenix, sort of almost a pseudo-destroyer player in that regard. So we're going to jump into a battle. I've had a few good battles, some terrible battles, of course. With the Phoenix, of course, the best battles, I'd have to say, are the ones where you dive into battle with lots and lots of other small, fast ships, because then you really see what the Phoenix can do. It becomes a very exciting game of pursuit and hunting, which is what the Phoenix is particularly good at. It's not so good at going toe-to-toe with bigger ships. It's better at just flying out and surprising people. Looks like we are towing with some big ships though, 2 Congos and a Wyoming, which could make this very interesting indeed. Now, this is actually going to be my final World of Warships battle on a regular basis anyway. There are a couple of reasons for this. The first is that we're going to be looking at a new game as of tomorrow. That's actually a single player game from last decade, but hopefully will be quite fun and interesting to watch, and also a change of pace from what we've got here. The other reason is that due to time commitments, it's just impossible for me to have new ships ready to go all the time in World of Warships due to the way that you earn new ships. And so rather than bore you with repeated videos of the same ship over and over again, what I thought I'd do is I'd occasionally do a video showing where I'm up to, and when I get a new ship I'll of course do a new video. But I won't sort of be doing daily videos on it, purely for the sake of sort of keeping fresh content coming through. So yes, so the Phoenix, it's fast, it's very fast. It can tap out at about 35.2 knots, which puts it in the upper echelons of speed, especially in these lower tiers. I believe the fastest ship in the game can only go 39 knots at present, which means that the Phoenix has that speed, which means it's actually keeping up or outpacing destroyers of the lower tiers, which makes it interesting to play. It has torpedoes, but they're a bit different to the torpedo fitments that you see on the destroyers. Torpedo fitments on the destroyers you'll often find are centrally aligned, and you can fire all torpedo tubes off either side. There is one set of torpedo tubes per side on this vessel, which means you can't put all of your torpedoes in the water at once against one ship. So you have to be a bit more sort of thoughtful about how you're deploying. The other thing is that this isn't a particularly thick-skinned vessel. I've got the second of 3 hulls, which gives me a bit more armor, a bit more health. But ultimately what you want to be doing is using the long range of the guns in this ship to your advantage. I mean, you're shooting at battleship range a lot of the time, up around 14 kilometers. Admittedly not doing as much damage as them, but you're reloading a lot faster too. You really want to keep out of the side of that battleship over there, which means that you can be pounding the enemy from well outside their firing range, and once they get a little bit too close you can be putting torpedoes in the water to give them extra things to think about. All that said, you know, it's good in theory, but the amount of times I've managed to sink horribly, including the last 2 attempts at making good videos, in which I died within the first 4 minutes or so, prove that the theory is all good, but practice often doesn't actually work out that way. So we're just going to try to come in and around, let that Kuma actually take the closer line, because I have the advantage of the gun range, which is good. Okay, how far is he? He's outside of my range, there's no point in putting anything in the air just yet. I will probably do another video of the Phoenix once I unlock the final hulls and the gun upgrades, just for interest's sake. But yes, this is the last of the regular updates. And as noted by one of the players, there's quite a bit of lag this match, which is a bit of a shame. Maybe a few people on our servers at the moment. We're of course playing on the Asian server. There's only one of those, and it's servicing a lot of players, and that Kuma really would love to get T-bone by the looks of it. So I'll actually change tack to match it. Keep out of line of sight of those destroyers. You can actually fire on him, so we'll do that. And that's well within my range. I think I've got an extra 2Ks on top of that. In fact, I'm actually going to come around this side of it. So I thought I'd also give you my overall impressions and thoughts on the game so far. And, you know, I have to say it's one of the more fun games I've played recently. It's definitely the most fun I've ever had with a free-to-play game. As you might have noticed by things I said while looking at Supernova on the weekend. The big selling point, of course, is the speed of the games. You know, the 20-minute matches, and often you're resolving them within 8 or 9 minutes, and that's a lot of fun. It keeps the pace up, keeps you going through different maps against different players, with different players and different ships. And that's always fun. And the other thing is just the actual responsiveness. The guns feel, you can really get the feel for the guns, and the way that the ships move, there's no sort of arcadiness about them. They feel very weighty. You know, you really feel the effort of turning a ship, accelerating and decelerating and things like that, and that just adds so much to the gameplay. And of course, the sound assets are fantastic. It looks great, especially the ship models. This is not on the highest graphical settings, but the ships just look great, which is always a good thing. Okay, I'll put them about there. So yes, as you might have noticed, there are far fewer guns on the Phoenix compared to the Lois, but it doesn't actually make it any less playable. I'm actually going to head for that cruise because I don't want to take on the battleship in this. My long-range shots aren't doing too bad, so it's always nice to see. I'm actually plowing through them quite fast. I don't know if I'll get a kill purely because everyone else is playing so damn well. However, this does give you sort of an idea of what the Phoenix is capable of. It's very fast, very movable, and it's got that fantastic range on its guns, which just makes it quite the potent threat to enemy ships. Okay, there's their destroyer. Right. So I do hope you've enjoyed our regular plays of World of Warships. Now at the moment the plan is we're going to have 5 videos a week for Sagrannus Gaming Plays, which will be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday Australian time. And then on Sundays, at the moment, we're actually going to have the bigger content videos where I'm, whether they're long-winded opinion plays or whether I muse about videos which are a bit shorter but do take a little bit more time to do than a gaming play. And of course I do invite everyone to subscribe or comment and like. Feedback is always really important when setting up a new channel like this and seeing just what works and what doesn't. You can also follow me on Twitter, where of course I'm happy to receive feedback and things like that as well. I'll actually be posting links to Twitter below, and I still have the written blog as well, where you can read up longer articles on games, which are randomly selected from my library to write on. I try to write only on games that I've got at least 20 hours logged in, so that I can give a sort of an experienced look at the games. They're not so much reviews, it's just articles on the games, and they're often a few years old as well. I've taken no damage this match, but unfortunately I haven't done much either. So, yes. I didn't sink in the first 5 minutes, but I also didn't sink anything. There is still a chance, but it's a slim chance, unfortunately. However, if you're looking for an interesting cruiser, brisk cruiser that can really move around the battlefield with relative impunity compared to things like destroyers, then I do recommend you consider actually getting into the Phoenix all the way to Omaha. They're quite a fun vessel to have a play around in, which is great, to be honest. Just keep in mind it's not as thick-skinned as some of its compatriots, and it's not going to be laying down the sort of fire that you might be used to in things like the famous Sagrannus, which is well known throughout the game as one of the most insanely heavily armed ships. I mean, it really is absolutely berserk in how much it can put in the air and put on people's heads. I don't think I'm going to get that kill either. I think he's going to be going down before I get in range. He's around the island from me. So unfortunately it's been a bit of an abysmal game, but that was the Phoenix cruiser. I will be putting up other videos, and maybe at some point I'll actually have the pleasure of showing you how it sailed when sailed well. But for now, I've been Sagrannus, and this has been Sagrannus Plays Wargaming's World of Warships. I hope you have enjoyed it so far, and hopefully you'll continue to watch when we go into our next game as of tomorrow. I'll be obviously announcing things on Twitter in that regard, and there'll be links to my Twitter and my blog below. I've been Sagrannus, and thank you for watching. See you later.